Does anybody have any questions about anything so far?
I'm fine.
Okay. Now, remember I said I wanted everybody to work on those review sections so y'all can start sending questions. I want you to do that this weekend. Okay. So I can look at the questions and see where I need to start. So, but I need y'all to start doing that work, okay? Let me turn on the captions right quick. Where'd the captions go? There they are. Okay. All right, so I've got everything turned on. Let's look at the homework. And it looks like we got several questions. This is the Math 130 class. I'm looking at R1. I see a R1 question. So here's R119. R119. Now, how do you know what number I'm looking at? Well, this 19 right here is the number in the book. So when I write down the question, and I want you to know this because some of y'all don't know this, okay? When I write down the question, and what's wrong with my, something wrong with my, hold on a second. There we go. As I write down the question, and this question I'm writing down, and it is R119 / 9. Okay, now before I do the problem, let me tell you what these numbers mean. Well, this is the chapter. This is the section. This is the number in the book. Mute your microphone, Mr. Bostic, if you don't mind, when you get a chance, or I'll do it for you.
All right.
There you go. Thank you. All right. This is the number in your online homework. So for those of you that aren't familiar with MyLabs Math, the first number, or the first letter in this case, is the chapter. That's the section. If you look in that section in the book, it's number 19. And if you look online, your online number 9, it is like this question that we're fixing to pull up. Okay? And I always tell students if it's a test question or not. So if it's a stupid question, I tell you, I wouldn't put that on a test if you paid me. This is a good test question for a review question. Y is equal to negative x squared plus 5, or f of x is equal to negative x squared plus 5. Now, can anybody tell me what are the two ways that you can do this problem? Now, if you were in my Math 109, or I'm sorry, what is this, calculus? If you were in my 109 or 110, you know the other way that you can do this besides plotting points. Can somebody tell me? How else can you do this problem besides plotting points? Completing the square and sketching it out, Hubert. That's right, class. Thank you for those 109 students that I had last semester that won't let me down. You suck. Mr. Bostic, you should have at least said completing the square. God. But anyway, here is my drawing. And if you pick points, you always want to pick -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. Why do you want to pick those 5 points? Somebody tell me why.
Because it's close to the origin.
It's close to the origin, which means that's really 2 or 3. They're small numbers, that's 1. It's close to the origin, that's 2. You all have negatives, positive, and 0. That's 3. Three reasons. -2 squared is 4. 4 plus 5 is 9. -1 squared is 1 plus 5 is 6. 0 plus 5 is 5. 1 is 6. 2, 4 plus 5 is 9. And then you plot those points. -2, positive 9. -1, positive 6. 0, 5. 2 or 1, 6. And 2, 9. So you got a parabola that has a y-intercept of what? 5. So you go over to your handy dandy graph drawer. Well, where is it, Hubert? Where did it go? I'll just pull it up again. I'm sorry. There it is right there. I don't know why it wouldn't pull up. Okay. Oh, and it is. Oh, it's negative. It'd be negative. I messed up. So that's I forgot the negative. Let me start over. I always mess up on the first one. Y is equal to -x squared plus 5. And that means I'm going to plug in x and y. -2. -1. Well, that should be right. Unless they're putting the negative out front. And that could be like this, but they should put the parentheses around it if they're going to do it that way. 0, 2, and 0, 1, and 2. So I'm looking at this like it should be having the negative in front of it. Because it looks like you did what you were supposed to. Yeah. So in this case, whoever sent this problem, you did it correctly because -2 would be 4. That'd be a -4 plus 5 is 1. And then -1, that's going to be -1, -1 is 1. -1 plus 5 is 4. 0 plus 5 is 5. So that's right. 1 would be -1 plus 5 is 4. And 2 squared is 4. -4 would be 1. So if you were to graph it, -2 would be 1. -1 would be 4. 0 would be 5. 1 would be 4. And 2 would be 1. There we go. Sorry. There you go. I forgot about the negative. I'm sorry. Now, is this problem written very well? No. I think they wanted to put parentheses around that around that x squared. So whoever sent this question, I can understand why you're confused. Because it is a little bit misleading not having the parentheses around the x squared. So if you sent that question, I hope that helps you out, even though I didn't even see the negative in the beginning of the problem. That's why it's good to come back with, and now I know y'all gonna hate this, completing the square. because completing the square would have called it negative x squared plus 5 is equal to 0. Negative x squared minus or equals plus blank is equal to 5. Negative 5 plus blank. And then, of course, 0 and 0. So you're going to get negative x squared is equal to 5, negative 5. And divide by negative 1, divide by negative 1. X squared is equal to 5, square root of 5. So you know the x-intercepts are positive and negative, square root of 5. You know the y-intercept is 5. And if you want to continue to find the vertex is going to be 0 and 5 also, because you don't have anything to solve for. So, and the negative says it's opening concave down. So either you do completing the square or you do plotting points. And if you don't forget the negative like Hubert did, you will get a concave down parabola. Take your handy dandy calculator to check it. And yes, you will be able to use your calculator to check it as soon as it comes up. And that's going to be as soon as it comes up, eventually. And we'll just sit here and wait. But another thing I see that you probably had problems with, excuse me, I don't think so. We have lifelong freaking, we bought the daggum rights to it a long time ago. Really? Hold on a second. Let me take a picture of this so I can send it to IT. Hold on. I'll tell you what. This is ridiculous. Somebody didn't pay the bill, I guess. So let me go to my TI-84. Forgive me. And hopefully everybody can see it. And y is equal to negative x squared. And then over plus 5. And graph. Let me turn my stat plot off. Hold on. Zoom 6. There you go. That's a good test question. Just don't do like me and forget about the negative, okay? Any question? Now, I do see why somebody would have a question, because it looks like you did the problem correctly. If I could find it. Let me see if I can find it again. I don't know where it went. Okay, for some reason, they just disappeared. There it is. It looks like to me that you did the correct problem. I have no idea why you got it wrong. Anybody want to, somebody want to, you know, on a test, I would give you credit for this problem. I have no idea why you got it wrong, unless you got a very small mistake on plotting. Anybody want to tell me their thoughts? And nobody says anything. It's going to be a long semester for this class. Nobody's going to say anything, okay? Well, I'll ask Miss Cook. Miss Cook, are you in here today? I guess not.
Sometimes when you're on my labs, if you like don't zoom in, you could like, it looks like you're plotting one point, but you're actually plotting another point.
Well, yeah, anytime you plot, you've got to zoom it as much as you can. Yes. So that might be why Miss Cook's not here today. So that may be why, you know, she might have got one little tick mark off. So anyway, that's that question. Now let's look at, we got R2, 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 looks like R2, 7. So this is R, number 2, number 4, 7 in the book, number 4 online. So R,
how to do that. So,
R2, 7/4. Now let me go ahead and tell y'all something, okay? When y'all send a question to me, I guarantee you there's 2 or 3 people in the room that have that same question. So when you send a question to me, there's no need for you to email me or message me and tell me that you figured it out how to do it. Because I'm going to go do it anyway, because look here. Somebody sent this same question, number 59. See? Most of the time when students send me a homework question, there's another person in the room that wants to answer, that wants to know how to do that same question. So when you send me a question, there's no need. If you figure it out, that's fine. I'm going to go over it anyway because there's going to be somebody in the room that wants to know that question. So with that being said, let's go ahead and do this one. Let me tell you if it's a test question or not. Mr. Bostic, I will tell them if it's not a test question, won't I?
Yes.
I'll say that's a dumb question. It shouldn't even be in the homework, won't I?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, let's look at this one. Yeah, this is a dumb question. This is a question that I would not put on a test. Determine if the correspondence is a function. Domain, a set of digital cameras. Correspondent, each camera's minimum resolution. A set of numbers. This is one of those, who in the world thought up one of these problems? Domain. Domain is your X. A set of digital cameras. So XR5, XR6, XR7, XR8. I'm just making up some digital cameras. Everybody with me? And what is the domain? I mean the range. A set of numbers. 5, 10, 15, 20. No, I'm sorry, 15, 20, 25. And what is the function? The function is maximum resolution. Well, this resolution, this camera could have a resolution of 10. This camera could have a resolution of 5. This camera can have a resolution of 15. And this camera can have a resolution of 25. Okay, I'm going to ask you an algebra question. What is the graphic test that you can test a function to see if it's a function? It's called the blank line test.
the vertical line test.
So I'm going to take my handy dandy red marker and I'm going to draw a vertical line. It only crosses one place, so this is a function. Now, did I just use what I interpreted as the, yeah, I interpreted this problem to say this. Now, I think this question has a little bit of good merit, but I would not put it on a test, because what would most of y'all do to this problem on a test?
Skip it.
You would skip it, mainly because there's a lot of words, and this is a math class. But hopefully this make you feel a little bit better about the problem. I just made those numbers up. I just made these up. And you should feel good about yourself, so you don't have to put an obscene amount of stuff on your truck. Please do not put smokestacks on your trucks, please, because people will make fun of you. All right, next. Mr. Bostic, you don't have smokestacks on your truck, do you?
Mm-mm.
Okay, good. That's a good thing.
Mm.
Any questions? All right, that's number 7. Anybody else got a number 7? I don't see another number 7, so I'm going to delete that one. Okay, this is, where is the number? Okay, we're still in R2. This is R227. R227. R227 in the book. And it's like your number 7 online for R2. And here it is. This is about 20% or 80, or not 80, about 30% of your Unit 1 of your review test right here. I'm going to go ahead and go through the difference quotient for you. And we're going to spend probably the rest of class on the difference quotient. Why is that? Because it's the basis for calculus. Okay? If you don't know the difference quotient, then you don't understand calculus. So I'm probably going to spend a lot of time on this problem. So what is the difference quotient? Well, for once, I'm going to, or here, I'm going here, and we're just going to forget about this question for right now. And we're going to go to something else. I'm going to move over to my handy dandy Geo Sketchpad. And give me a second, I'm looking. Okay, does everybody see what I just put on the board? Hopefully you can see it. I want you to draw it. And this time I'm going to show you how I want you to draw it. I want you to take I want you to draw a big front quadrant like this. Okay? Now this is very important because this is like the basis of calculus. Okay, we're fixing to make a transition from algebra to calculus. And it's very important because this is where a lot of y'all suck at calculus, because you don't know where the transition is. Okay? Now, I mean y'all, I mean all students. I don't mean y'all in this class. All right. So I'm going to draw a curve. And it looks like that. And I'm going to take a red marker or a red colored marker. And I'm going to draw a dot right here. Now that first dot is x and f of x. Does everybody agree with what I just drew on the board? Does everybody agree with that? Y'all learned that a long time ago. This is x and this is y. Okay?
Yes.
And I'm going to draw another point, and I'll color it blue. Maybe a light blue, so it won't mix with the black. I'm going to draw a... Now, a lot of people would call this x sub 2, but we're not going to call it x sub 2. We're going to call it something different. We're going to say that this, and I'm going to take a highlighter, and I'm going to highlight this area between x and that blue dashed line. I'm going to highlight that area. And we're going to call that yellow area, we're going to color that H. You could say D for distance, but I'm going to call it H because that's what all math books call it. Everybody with me? So somebody tell me what this blue, what the X value for this blue dot is. I told you, we're not going to use x sub 2. It's got to be something else.
X plus H.
Good job. So therefore, what is the y value of x plus h? F of x plus h. Now here's the kicker. I'm going to take another color. I'm going to take an orange color and my straight edge. And I'm going to draw a line between those two dots. Now, just to make things simple for y'all, I'm going to write x plus h, comma, f of x plus h. And then this point is x, comma, f of x, comma. Everybody with me?
Yes.
Somebody tell me from your pre-algebra, algebra 1 days, what is the definition of slope?
Rise over run.
Okay, that, I don't agree with that one, but that you are correct, but that's not what I'm looking for. I want you to explain rise over run, meaning the difference in y over the difference in x. How do you say that?
Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1.
Okay, it's back. Yeah.
Is that backwards?
Yeah, I think it's rise over run. Yeah, you're right. The change in y over the change in x. Y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Now, I want everybody in the room to take these 2 points and plug into the slope formula and simplify it. Do that. I'll even draw you 2 sets of parentheses. Y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. And these are your points. This is your first point, and this is your second point. Plug and chug. Do that. I'll give you 2 minutes. I'll even put you on timer. And just look at it this way. If you can't do it, just write it up as what?
Failure.
If you can't do it, write it up as failure. There you go. Nothing wrong with, nothing wrong with failure, as long as you see it. Let's go with 2 minutes. Now I want you to simplify. Miss Blass, how are you doing today?
I'm okay.
Good. I just call people's names out every once in a while just to see if they're paying attention. Y'all got any teachers that are weaned on a pickle? No sense of humor? That's pretty much all of them. They hate their job, they hate their life, and they're going to take it out on their students. I got to lay off them Marlboro Reds. They're killing me. There's 2 or 3 things. I went through the Marine Corps, 10 years through the Marine Corps. There's 2 or 3 things I never developed a taste for. One is smoking. The other is beef liver. And there's one more. I can't think of it, but anyway. Never understood the smoking thing. I'm sorry. There was one other thing. Oh well.
Pretty much every Marine smokes.
Every year we'd go to the Marine Corps ball and everybody would smoke cigars and I'd be over there like, I just not one of those people. I'm just weird. Coffee. That's it.
I don't drink coffee. I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke either. So.
Well, I'm not gonna differ with you on alcohol. I'm dang old I like my moonshine. But I was born with something I've been blessed with. I do not have an addictive personality, so that's something I'm very, very blessed and thankful for, because I do know people with addictive personalities. And I guess I'm addicted to TV because I love movies. I love watching old movies and stuff, so I guess I'm addicted to TV. I guess that would be my addiction. All right, here we go. This is, which way do we read? We read left to what, right?
Right.
Unless you're from Middle East.
Yeah, unless you're.
As-salama, Allah Akbar.
Oh.
Okay?
Allahu Akbar.
Yep, I said that one time, and I had somebody call my department head and say I was making fun of Middle Eastern people.
Did you hear about the 4 Marines that were killed in Kabul yesterday or the day before?
Yep, but does it surprise me?
Nope.
Anybody ever heard of Benghazi?
Mm-hmm.
So, make America lose again. All right, so which way do we read? Left to right? So this is x sub 1, y sub 1. This is x sub 2, y sub 2. Plug and chug. I'm going to take my blue pen, and I'm going to plug in f of x plus h. And down here, I'm going to plug in x plus h. And here, I'm going to plug in my f of x and x.
Mm-mm.
Now, what happens when you simplify this? You get f of x plus h minus f of x over what? H. Somebody tell me what we just found.
The slope?
We just found the slope. We just rewrote the slope. So I'm going to go to the next page, and we're going to rewrite this. Slope is equal to, just like you said, who said rise over run?
Me.
Me. Who's me?
Modzel.
Monzel. You were right. This rise over run. I like to say vertical over horizontal. Rise over run. That's the way you learned it at the beginning. And then we move to delta y over delta x. And then we move to y sub 2 minus y sub 1, y sub 2 over y sub 1, x sub 2 minus x sub 1. And now, since you're in calculus, we're going to say f of x plus h minus f of x over h. And since slope is so redneck, we're going to call it the difference quotient. Which is a fancy way of writing what? Slope. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of taste of what we're going to see in chapter 1. Okay, everybody with me? Show you a little bit of taste. Let's say that I'm going to bring this blue dot closer to this red dot. What will do that? What will do that? What will bring that blue dot down here to this red dot?
Making h smaller.
Make h smaller. Decrease h. So I need to make h go to what? To 0. And when you do that, you basically have the secant line turning into the what?
First one.
The secant line turning into the tangent line. So, I'm going to show you a little bit of chapter 1 right now. And we're going to work toward that because I want to show you how important this difference quotient is. We're going to take the algebra that you learned with slope and change it to f of x plus h minus f of x over h. And we're going to combine that with the limit theory, which basically says h goes to 0, and the product of that, or the sum of that, is called what? Calculus. And you're turning the secant line into the what? Tangent line. Now, half of you are saying, oh, okay, turning the secant line into the tangent line. The other half of you are saying, who the hell cares? Okay? So I'm going to show you why it matters. When you have, I'm going to pause it. I'm going to see if I can pause it. The secant line, see the secant line? The secant line is in the middle. Everybody see that? The secant line is inside the curve. Does everybody see that? The secant line pretty much to us in science, the secant line is pretty much useless. Okay? So we need to turn that secant line into something that's more valuable. And what's more valuable? The tangent line. Why is the tangent line valuable? Well, I'm going to show you. When I click on, see that secant line becoming that tangent line? Well, I'm going to stop it. When you find the tangent line, and I'm going to put this in a green color. When you find the tangent line, you can find the normal vector. And if you can find the normal vector, you've got the velocity and the acceleration of a point in space. Now, that may not seem a lot to you right now, but when you're going into economics and you're going into business and marketing, the first and second derivative, which gives you the speed and the velocity, will also give you the increasing and decreasing values, as well as the inflection point on a curve of a marketing curve. Okay? So that's why you need to learn what we're learning. So that's it. I've just given you a little glimpse of what we're going to get into with the first chapter of calculus. Now let's go back to the difference quotient. M is equal to f of x plus h minus f of x over h. Now, I'm going to go into a little bit of explanation here. Let's go back to Algebra 2, when you first learned how to do functions. F of x is equal to x plus 2. And I want you to tell me what f of 2 is. I want you to tell me what f of 4 is. I want you to tell me what f of negative 1 is. And I want you to tell me what f of star is. So somebody tell me what f of 2 is.
4.
Okay, what did you do to get that 4?
Replace the x plus 2. I put 2 plus 2.
Replace the x with what? Whatever's in parentheses, right?
Right.
So I'm going to take my handy dandy highlighter, and x is going to be replaced by all of these things because they are inside the parentheses. So I'm going to rewrite parentheses plus 2, parentheses plus 2, parentheses plus 2, parentheses plus 2. And I'm going to put yellow highlighter here. Now, a lot of you are saying, good gosh, he's insulting my intelligence. No, I'm not. When we get to calculus, you're gonna appreciate this. All right, so I'm gonna put a 2 here, because that goes there. And a 4 goes here. And a negative 1 goes here. And a star goes there. So my answer here is 4. So f of 2 is equal to 4. F of 4 is equal to 6. f of -1 is equal to 1. And f of star plus 2, f of star is equal to star plus 2. Okay, I'm trying to knock your memory loose because it's been a while since you had Algebra 2. And whatever is in this position is plugged in for x. Does everybody agree with that? Okay, next step. F of x, or f of x, is equal to x plus 2. Tell me, I'll give you a second. I want you to tell me what f of x plus h is. Go ahead. Yeah, take 30 seconds. Do it on a piece of paper. After I just did this, I want you to do f of x plus h. So I'm going to do everything I did in the previous problem. This is what I'm going to plug in. I'm going to rewrite this plus 2. I'm going to write this. And I'm going to take an arrow and I'm going to put this like this. And x plus h plus 2. No, Hubert, you're supposed to stare at it and you're supposed to forget everything you did previously. You're supposed to forget all this. Forget this, and you're supposed to be confused. Okay? You take everything that you learned in Algebra 1, Algebra 2, whatever's in these parentheses, you plug into the function. That's what I just did. All right, you ready? F of x is equal to x squared. I want you to give me f of x plus h. Go to it. 2 minutes. So I'm going to write me a set of parentheses. And I'm not doing it yet. What am I trying to show y'all? That you follow the same procedure that you've been using since when? Since algebra. Now, am I done here? Oh, hell no. Because we've got what next? This is shortcut number 1. A plus B, quantity squared, is equal to a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. So that's going to be x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. Now you're done. The problem is, half of you, or half of students, when the teacher in high school shows you this, half of you gaffed it off and ignored it and said, well, I'll just do it using the FOIL method. And half of you didn't. That's the problem. The ones that didn't, they're okay. But the ones that gaffed off the teacher and said, I ain't going to learn that, well, you're going to be sucking wind because you got to learn those shortcuts. What shortcuts are you talking about? A plus B, quantity squared, is equal to a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. A minus b, quantity squared, is equal to a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. A squared minus b squared. A plus b times a minus b. A plus b cubed equals a plus b. A squared minus ab plus b squared. I meant it's supposed to be a cubed plus b cubed, sorry. And 5, a cubed minus b cubed is equal to a minus b times a squared plus ab plus b squared. Now you remember when you told them, you said you were going to ignore them or you weren't going to learn them? I'll tell you a little secret. If you try to forget these, you're never going to make it past Calc 1 and Calc 2. Okay, so you can choose to learn them now after you ignored them in high school, or you can learn them now and make, pass Calc 1 and Calc 2. And this one is shortcut number 1. A plus B, quantity squared. Plug it in there. And you get x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. Okay, now, Mr. Bostic. You showing me the ceiling fan, Mr. Bostic. You know I hate ceiling fans. You're going to have to point it down to your desk, okay? When you walk away, don't show me the ceiling fan, okay? All right. I hate ceiling fans because the last couple of semesters, before I started throwing out students, this is what everybody did. I just did the ceiling fan. So this semester, I actually got permission. I can throw y'all out and lock y'all out if y'all do that. All right.
I'm in a basement
Mr.
den right now.
Does this kind of bring back, knock the cobwebs loose? With that question you were sent? Okay, he's not saying anything. Mr. Bostic, hello.
Do what?
Does this knock some cobwebs loose with that question you sent?
Yes.
So let's look at the question. Let me go back and find the question if I could ever find it. Here it is. Here is the function. F of x is equal to 1 over x plus 4 quantity squared. And I want y'all to do the first 3. I want y'all to do f of 5, f of 0, and f of a. Okay, give you 2 minutes. Okay?
You have a work email.
I'll be right back.
Say again?
Give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
Oh, well, thank you for being polite. Okay, so that's going to be 1 over 5 plus 4 squared is 1 over 9 squared, which is 1 over 81. 1 over 0 plus 4 squared, 1 over 4 squared, 1 over 16. 1 over a plus 4 squared, 1 over a squared plus 8a plus 16. And now let's do x plus h. Let's do the difference quotient. So I'm going to let y'all do the difference quotient. And I want you to do, I'm skipping x plus h. I want you to do the next one. Okay, which is f of x plus h minus f of x over h. I want you to do that last one. F of x is equal to 1 over x plus 4 quantity squared. And I want you to give me f of x plus h minus f of x over h. All right, I'm going to give you 3 minutes to work on it because you got a little bit of extra work to do in this one. So I'm going to give you 3 minutes on this one. I'm going to add a little bit of color to this one. I'm going to highlight this in green. And I'm going to highlight this in yellow. And I'm going to use green brackets and yellow brackets. And I'm not going to do the problem. I'm just going to start it off. Over here, I'm going to put 1 over parentheses, little parentheses, plus 4 quantity squared. And here, I'm just going to put in the f of x, which is 1 over x plus 4 quantity squared. And somebody tell me, what am I going to plug in right here?
X plus H.
Thank you. I was beginning to think y'all didn't listen to me. All right, do your algebra. Boy, this is a mess. All right, so on the green, nothing really changes. You get 1 over x plus h plus 4 quantity squared minus 1 over x plus 4 quantity squared all over h. There's no way they want you to solve that. That is a mess. Because you're going to have to get a common denominator of x plus h plus 4 quantity squared times x plus 4 quantity squared over 1 x plus h plus 4 quantity squared times x plus 4 quantity squared over 1. And that's going to leave you, I don't think they want you to do all this, but I may be wrong. That's going to leave you with the x plus 4, that's going to count out, so that's going to leave x plus 4 quantity squared minus, this is going to cancel out and leave x plus h plus 4 quantity squared all over h times x plus h plus 4 quantity squared times x plus 4 quantity squared. Mr. Bostic, did they want you to go all the way with that last part?
I'm not sure.
Do you remember?
I can check. No, I don't remember.
So this is going to be x plus 4. This is going to be, hold on. This is going to be x squared plus 8x plus 16 minus x plus h squared plus 8 times x plus h plus 16 all over all this trash. X plus h plus 4 quantity squared, x plus 4 squared. And that's going to give you x squared plus 8x plus 16 minus x squared plus 2xh plus h squared plus 8x plus 8h plus 16 all over that trash. And then that's going to be x squared plus 8x plus 16 minus x squared minus 2xh minus h squared minus 8x minus 8h minus 16 over all that trash. And then take your red highlighter, the x squared cancels, the 8x cancels, and the 16 cancels. Is this supposed to happen, yes or no?
a lot going on.
Is it supposed to happen? Okay, date with the carrot stick and the water. Is it supposed to happen? It's either a yes or a no.
Yes.
Yes, it is supposed to. What the heck is that? Yes, it is supposed to happen. The X terms are supposed to cancel. So the X terms are supposed to cancel. So you're left with this. Okay, hold on. You're left with -2 xh minus h squared minus 8h over h times x plus h plus 4 times x plus 4 quantity squared. And there's supposed to be an h, right? This h, sorry. Factor out of h. And what happens to the two h's? They cancel, Hubert. Thank you, class. Appreciate the communication. Appreciate the interaction. Now, what are you left with? Well, that's the slope. Now, I'm going to show you what we're going to be doing in chapter 1. This is your answer for the review. That's your answer for the review homework. In chapter 1, we're going to add this. What happens to the h terms? Well, this goes to 0. This goes to 0. This goes to 0. And you're left with -2x minus 8 over x plus 4 quantity squared plus x squared, or times x squared. And that is what we call in chapter 1 the derivative. Okay? So that's why you need to know your algebra. Question, gripe, complaint. You remember a little bit more now, Mr. Bostic?
Yeah.
Now, I realize there's one or two of y'all that's going, I have no earthly idea what he just did. Well, that's why you need to do the review homework this weekend and send questions so you can understand. Question, gripe, complaint. All right, I'm going to give you some good news. I got to pick up my son at Westside, so we're going to call it a day today. But do not leave, because I got to do the attendance and give you what you need to do this weekend. Okay, so just bear with me a minute. I'm going to turn the presentation off, and I'm going to turn the recording off.